These college students at Irvine disrupted the speech of an Israeli ambassador speaking at this Irvine college. Let's watch it, and then we'll do commentary at the end.
And that is why we're so proud.
Ambassador Oren is an academic, a graduate of Princeton and Columbia.
Oren, propagating murder is not an expression of free speech. We're going to be polite and courteous to our guests.
Don't squander the opportunity.
Israel, guilty of 101
Boy, are you going to have a hard job.
Shame on all of you! What you did today was embarrass yourself and the university. Any student that has to be removed from this room, one of those procedures can result in suspension or dismissal from the university.
When you invite somebody into your house, even if you do not agree with them, even if they're ostensibly your enemy, once you have invited them into your house, you are their hosts and they are your guests. I'm your guest here, and I'm asking for the Middle Eastern hospitality to your guests. I've come into your house. First, the person who signed off on the cell phone.
You are also being arrested.
I was impressed that the Muslim students did not get violent. They walked out and they didn't resist, although they did get arrested, and I heard some getting threatened that they were going to lose their college careers because of this display of civil disobedience. Let's say you were a Jew during the times of the Holocaust, because a lot of Palestinians see this as Holocaust-like. Imagine a speaker representing, say, Hitler's army came to speak. How many Jews do you think would show up to defeat that speech and not even let him speak? If they thought their people were being killed and tortured, which they were, they would do everything. They would do just what these people were doing, and I admired the restraint of these people. If you really feel that the situation is a Holocaust that's happening to the Palestinian people, to the Arab people in that region, then stopping someone from speaking, it would be well within the realm of something that would be acceptable. Columbia University invites Iranian president to speak at their university. Listen to the introduction of Lee Bollinger from his protege.
Now, I am delighted to introduce to you the president of Columbia University, Lee Bollinger.
I'm delighted. Here's our guest. Yay! Columbia University could teach you Muslim protesters a lot. That is how you treat somebody in your house. You show them respect. Now, listen to the introduction from Lee Bollinger, the president of Columbia University, showing that American collegiate hospitality to his guest, whom he invited to speak. Take note, you Muslim students, this is how an American shows hospitality to his Muslim guest. Watch close, you can learn.
Before speaking directly to the current president of Iran, I have a few critically important points to emphasize.
Yes, he wants to emphasize some critical points. Takes over 20 minutes. I narrowed it down to about 5 minutes. But just a nice 5 minutes of solid, warm welcome for the Iranian president. Kind of listing some of the things that he's noted about the man, because you want to make him feel good, make him feel loved, because that's what you do to your guest. So here we go. Take it away, Lee.
It should never be thought that merely to listen to ideas we deplore in any way implies our endorsement of those ideas when we open our public forum to their voices. To those among us who experience hurt and pain as a result of this day, I say on behalf of all of us that we are sorry. This event has nothing whatsoever to do with any rights of the speaker, but only with our rights to listen and speak, that one should know thine enemies, to have the intellectual and emotional courage to confront the mind of evil, that Iran leads the world in executing minors. Let's then be clear at the beginning. Mr. President, you exhibit all the signs of a petty and cruel dictator. And so I ask you, why are you so afraid of Iranian citizens expressing their opinions for change? You held a 2-day conference of Holocaust deniers. For the illiterate and ignorant, this is dangerous propaganda. When you come to a place like this makes you quite simply ridiculous. You are either brazenly provocative or astonishingly uneducated. You should know, please, you should know that Columbia is the world center of Jewish studies. Your absurd comments about the debate over the Holocaust both defy historical truth and make all of us who continue to fear humanity's capacity for evil shudder at this closure of memory. Will you cease this outrage? In October 2005, when you said that Israel should be wiped off the map, quote unquote, Columbia has over 800 alumni currently living in Israel. Do you plan on wiping us off the map too? Iran is a state sponsor of terror, Palestinian Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. My question is this: why do you support well-documented terrorist organizations that continue to strike at peace and democracy in the Middle East? A number of Columbia graduates and current students are among the brave members of our military who are serving or have served in Iraq and Afghanistan. They, like other Americans with sons, daughters, fathers, husbands, and wives serving in combat, rightly see your government as the enemy. Can you tell them and us why Iran is fighting a proxy war in Iraq by arming Shia militia, targeting and killing U.S. troops? And finally, you continue to defy this world body by claiming a right to develop a peaceful nuclear power. But this hardly withstands scrutiny when you continue to issue military threats to neighbors. Why does your country continue to refuse to adhere to international standards for nuclear weapons verification in defiance of agreements that you have made with the UN Nuclear Agency? And why have you chosen to make the people of your country vulnerable to the effects of international economic sanctions and threaten to engulf the world in nuclear annihilation? Let me close with a comment. Frankly, and in all candor, Mr. President, I doubt that you will have the intellectual courage to answer these questions, but your avoiding them will in itself be meaningful to us. I do expect you to exhibit the fanatical mindset that characterizes so much of what you say and do. Your preposterous and belligerent statements in this country, as at one of the meetings at the Council on Foreign Relations, so embarrassed sensible Iranian citizens that this led to your party's defeat in the December mayoral elections. May this do that and more. I am only a professor. I am only a professor who is also a university president. And today I feel all the weight of the modern civilized world yearning to express the revulsion at what you stand for. I only wish I could do better. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that incredibly warm, thoughtful introduction. I feel the warmth of the humanity of America at this point. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express myself in this open, fair exchange. You are very kind. What a host you are. That introduction wasn't fit for a dog. What an embarrassment. A lot of Americans were embarrassed about this, but imagine if a Chinese leader came. Before we start talking here, let's just talk about some of the human rights violations of China. Not to mention what's happened to the Dalai Lama and all the Buddhists, but look at what you've done to the Muslim community in Kashgar. On the Silk Road, you're destroying their entire culture, all of their buildings. You're torturing them. You're depriving them the ability to pray. Our president is taking heat for spending time with the Dalai Lama. And Chinese have oppressed all of those people and have been so cruel and brutal to them, yet because of our diplomatic policy and our allies, we can't say anything. And if that Lee Bollinger had said anything negative to a Chinese leader, he would be out on his rear end. Isn't that true?